Hey, what's going on guys, MIQ here, and in today's video, we are actually going to be doing something a little bit different. So normally I like to do deck showcases, and we kind of are doing one, but I played a very similar deck earlier in the week, but this time we're going to be playing it in best of 3, because I've had a pretty busy life schedule for the past couple weeks, and I want to get more accustomed to the standard format, because the Mythic Invitational is coming up like next week, or like in a week and a half kind of, and I am criminally underprepared. The only Magic I've really been playing has been best of 1 for my videos, whereas I like to get a pretty good split because best of 3 is super fun. So basically, I love this Sultai deck. I recognize that the Ultimatum one is probably more powerful, but I think that the more control-y version and the less go over the top ramp kill your opponent with an ultimatum, I feel like that's more my style. And I feel like that's better against all sorts of aggressive decks and mid-range decks. And the only spot where this deck is really weaker is against the other Sultai Ultimatum deck. At least from playing whatever I have, that's the sort of vibe I've gotten. But yeah, that seems to be this deck's only matchup where I feel disadvantaged. And I'm going to try to fix that. We have a lot of counterspells in the main deck. I've been tweaking this list here and there while keeping aggro more into consideration than a lot of lists I've seen coming up from tournaments, because we are on ladder, and Mythic Invitationals and ladder tends to be a little bit different because the deck lists also aren't open. So we can go over the list really quickly. Blood Chief's Thirst, Stay Alive, early game. Counter Magic, Sweet, and Disdainful Stroke, because it's pretty solid in the format. It can counter a lot of stuff. Yorian's Ultimatums, Showdowns, Ember Cleaves, just a really solid card. Juarez, land and a spike counterspell, pretty solid. Negates, I might even bump this up, but we have another one in the sideboard. Omen for the combo with Yorian. Lighter on the removal than my best one version, but we still kind of want it for those aggressive matchups. Max out the tomes, killer card. Nightmare for rogues, and pretty much a lot of matchups, even the Sultai one, being able to blink this after you fetched Yorian, or with some main deck Yorians, can be pretty cool too. Saw it coming. I feel like you just need a counterspell, like a universal counterspell. And playing the ultimatum version, I was really missing this in the mirrors, so saw it coming. Extinction Event and Shadow's Verdict, basically good against aggro. This is really good to wipe the yards against Rakdos and Jund midrange, which has been cropping up a lot. Obviously, Binding, Yorian. I'm not a huge fan of all the main deck Yorians. I recognize that they're powerful because you have a lot of stuff to blink in the Omen, Nightmare, and Binding, but in the late game, like a Yorian, if you don't have any other permanents, just isn't that good. I feel like 2 is fine, and the 1 in the companion slot, I've been pretty happy with. Honestly, I might even cut this down to 1 in the main deck, but 2's been going okay. And for win cons, we have Ugins, Komas, and Shark Typhoons. Shark Typhoons can have more uses than just win con. You can obviously slam it, but cycling for a big shark is more often than not where you want to be. Mana base, we run a lot of land, right? We have 35 plus these two, 37. You never really want to miss a land drop. Field of Ruin for other castles and Faceless Haven, freaking annoying card in this deck. We have Vantress to scry, Lockthwain to draw. No red mana, we're not running Valky, which I might actually try. It'll give us more of a grindy kind of later game with just being able to splash with Ketria Triome. So we'll see. Sideboard, Duress against Ultimatum Mirror and other control decks. Glimpse for rogues, negate rogues ultimatum, dispute rogues any control deck that's blue based. Also the Is It Tempo list, which I've been running into less and less and less. This is for the Is It Tempo matchup, just 1 Soul Shatter for the Goldspan Dragon, doesn't target. More events and more verdicts against anything super aggressive like Mono White or Gruul, or Mono Red, which actually has been cropping up, and the Nightmare in more mid-rangey games. I've been a pretty big fan of the Nightmare. I typically main deck this, but I'm trying it in the sideboard. So that's going to be it for the list, guys. I know it's not super new, but I do want to get some best of 3 practice, and I do want to make a video, so we're going to put 2 things into 1, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, if you will. And yeah, again, deck list will be in the description down below, and let's get into some games. All right, let's go. Hand is fine, although we're going to need some land. We have the scry to help us get there. Land, not land. Alright, to the bottom. Untap land on 2 is more important than on 3. Every time I play best of 3, oh, that's not good. Alright. This tapped. Yeah, I think we get this down tapped. This might become untapped in the future. So maybe Sultai, maybe not. But yeah, every time I play best of 3, I always kind of throw myself off because there's no hand smoothing algorithm. I mean, they're not going to be able to play anything. That costs 4 mana, and I don't think we're cycling Shark just yet. Let's just foretell this. They don't seem to be very aggressive. They can still technically be rogues, but I don't see what they'd be splashing green for. So probably just a Sultai control deck, not running Yorion. Interesting. I do think the Yorion versions are more powerful, all in all. And we are going to fetch a forest here. Alright, if my opponent wants to allow me to. Okay. Getting triple green is basically not a concern for this version of the deck. And we hit land, perfect. So, I guess we'll put this on black. And we'll pass. We definitely do want more blue, but we have double blue, and now having double black can be important too. We pass because we want to hold our options open. Opponent cycles Shark for 1, that's okay. We can make a bigger Shark. And yeah, we want to hold open Saw It Coming, Heartless Act, Disdainful Stroke. The Nightmare can eat the Shark next turn, especially if we hit a land. And they're going to attack, but we're not going to block with the Shark. We want to hold our mana open throughout the remainder of their turn. And if they don't do anything, we'll just cycle now. Make a bigger Shark. And this also helps us dig towards land. We have 37, so we shouldn't be missing too many land drops. Removal. That's fine. If they're tapping out for removal, we're super happy. Alright, more Disdainful Strokes. Or not tapping out, but tapping low. Okay. So we don't quite hit land. I want to tap like this. I want to hold open all the blue. But we're going to try to resolve a tome to see if we can get ahead that way. Opponent looks to be very blue-black. They only have 1 green source. Negate. Do I care? Yeah, I want this tome. I don't know that they're the ultimatum version yet. And if they are, we still have double Disdainful Stroke. But this tome can really help while we hold open counter magic. And I'm going to take 1 scry to see if I can hit land. I'm not going to burn a scry on upkeep. But this deck probably runs binding, so getting some counters on the tome doesn't sound like the worst idea. Land, even though it's tapped, we keep it. So, slightly annoying, but we're just taking 1 point a turn. It's fine. Hold open, draw from the tome, and Heartless Act or Disdainful Stroke. And we'll see what they do. Could just be another Shark. Yep. And next turn, Nightmare can take out the bigger one, and we're pretty much under no clock at all at that point. Also, if they're making 2 really small Sharks, we're pretty happy. Alright, there's the green source. They found it. Take all the damage. We'll start by drawing. Mate, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be a prick about it. Draw off the tome. More comas. Not exactly what we want to see. And we'll take out one of these Sharks. Opponent probably won't counter it. Yep. Alright, can we hit land? No, we can't. So, Nightmare. We go Omen. I mean, we can do Omen, try to hit land. I think we just want to get Nightmare down. Eat the Shark, get into their hand. They still need 2 more green sources for Ultimatum, so they might counter this. They negate it. That's fair. Still going to hold everything open, although if I draw now, I could potentially hit my land. And yeah, the Shark isn't a huge deal. Okay, there's another green source that probably also came off the top. Alright, we're going to go with the Omen. That is, okay, opponent goes for a Gargaroth. And notice how it doesn't tap their double blue, or it taps the double blue for them, meaning they don't have dispute. So we're going to Disdainful Stroke this. And Scry to try to hit land. Verdict, definitely not. Good Scry. Alright, negate. Yeah, let's go for this. try to hit land main phase. We have 3 looks technically, and there's land and a binding. Do I want the binding? It doesn't seem horrible. It can ramp us. But I think counter magic is more important. I mean, assuming that they even are that deck, I don't know. I think we can actually afford to take the binding here. They might have more Gargaroths or like Ashioks or stuff like that. And we have double green already for the Coma because of our Triome. So we'll just get this down on blue. And content to pass there. Also, having the binding, and the Omen of the Sea means Yorion is a very live draw. Alright, they just cycle Triome. We take these. Okay. And go to damage. Alright, we're going to draw from the tome. Get this into our hand. Even though we can technically keep it on 3 counters by Yorion and reset eventually, I do think it's just better to get it played. Okay. Play out the temple. Land. So how much mana do I have? I have 6 mana. Can buy Yorion. And then pass, hold open some counter magic. I think we want to keep hitting land. We have plenty of action for the next little while. Okay. And we technically don't have double counterspell, but our opponent is struggling on mana themselves. Alright, they're going for the shark. Shark attack, that's fine. Try to resolve something. No, they just pass. That's okay too. Don't want to tap out for this Coma because they probably have ultimatums. At least if they do, it wouldn't surprise me. So have I put anything to the bottom? I have. Alright, so I guess we just... I mean, I can get the binding down, right? And then still hold open double counterspell. Ramp and then blink everything next turn with Yorion. Sure, let's do that. Alright. Cool. There's no rush to play the Yorion. We can just maximize our value. And this really incentivizes them to not play another permanent this turn. So, okay, there's a pretty big shark. That's their 3rd Shark Typhoon. Good sign. So if this Yorion does end up resolving, then we get to just take it out for free. Okay, there's your untapped green again. Yeah, no, we're fine holding back. We can take 4. Alright. Cracks the passage. Would not be surprised to see a forest here. Swamp, okay. And yeah, that's it for the opponent. Not going to crack because I have the Shadow's Verdict at the bottom. Alright, Field of Ruin, that's not a bad draw. We hit our land drop and it's a land with a use. Grab Triome. Play out the Field of Ruin. And is this fine? I want double blue open. So... sure, we'll go like this. I can probably use 1 counterspell to defend this Yorion if they go for it. But I don't want to go for too many. Negate or Disdainful Stroke. No, sorry, what am I doing? Go for the negate. I kind of want this Yorion to resolve. It's a pretty good value play. And we still want to hold up Disdainful Stroke this entire time. Alright, if the opponent goes for removal, that's fine. Not too fussed about that. It's more about the blinking for the value. Double blink. And we'll crack now. Just to make sure that our scries do end up mattering. Guess we can grab a bit more blue. We always seem to be needing more blue, or at least I do whenever I play this deck. Although maybe it was better to grab a swamp. Actually, we have these. The castle will enter untapped regardless. Alright, let's grab Tome and land. I mean, I feel like I'm getting to the point where I have enough land, but more land can never be too bad, especially in this type of mirror. Maybe that's just me being conservative. Because being able to play Coma and hold open mana for all types of protection is pretty huge. All right, they foretell something, so I think that's an Alrund's Epiphany. That tends to be the only foretell card that Ultimatum has, and I'm playing it as if it's Ultimatum, but it could very well not be. I guess another black. If I resolve this, do I have enough mana? I'll have 4 mana left. So, yeah, let's go for the Serpent. Can't be countered, mate. And so if this is a saw it coming, we're pretty happy. And we'll play out the Tome. We have 2 mana either to draw or to play the Disdainful Stroke. So happy I kept the land. They go for a Soul Shatter. Well, that's one way to deal with it. Good thing we have backup. And it's a Behold. Yeah, that's fine. I want this to hit bigger and more important things than a draw 2. Especially because we have Tome and a stupid mana advantage on the opponent. Alright. Not feeling too bad. Opponent's up on cards here, but we have, well, clearly the mana advantage. And we have Tome, which represents 4 more cards. Also, I don't know how many main deck Soul Shatters you actually have, but you're gonna need another. And they cycle Triome, okay. So they're really not valuing their mana as much as I am. And they scoop, okay. So we technically don't know if they're an Ultimatum deck or not. There are definitely some variants of Sultai control. So what do we even want to play? Gargaroth, so maybe. I've seen this in Ultimatum decks, but it might not be. Lots of negates, Shark Typhoons, fair. Okay, so we definitely want our Shark Typhoons. I'm thinking Duresses. And we go for the Disputes. Another negate and the Ashiok, because they might not... I mean, they have the binding, but aside from that, I don't know how equipped they're going to be to deal with Planeswalkers. Okay, we'll cut all the Sweepers. We'll cut an Eliminate and a Heartless Act. We might need one for the Gargaroth at some point. Nightmare on the draw I don't love. Actually, we can just cut the Thirsts and I guess put the Nightmare back in. Do we want the Glimpses? It's like okay card advantage, or quote-unquote card advantage. It's a way to use the Yard, but they probably have their own Nightmares. We pretty much side out most of our removal and say, well, we're going to deal with Gargaroth using Heartless Acts, Bindings, and like, I guess, Ugin. Which, I mean, I don't even know how many Gargaroths they run. Maybe it's correct to put in a 3rd Heartless Act. But it's such a dead draw most of the time. Alright, we're going to go like this. We know they have the Soul Shatter for Coma, but it's one of our main win cons, and although we haven't seen counter magic, counter magic for creatures, we've seen the main deck negates, I think that it's still fine to play Coma. Alright, so now we find out if they're actually an Ultimatum deck. Having Yorion as a companion always makes me feel nice and cozy in a control mirror, because it means that we can just go longer than the opponent can. And hand is good. We have 3 lands, so a lot more stable than the first one. And turn 1 Duress. Alright, what are you going to take? Have some goodies. We definitely have some goodies, and they opt for the Shark Typhoon. Okay, that's a good draw. Start out with Temple, our Duress. Okay, I don't hate it. We get to see if they ever were hiding an Ultimatum eventually. Not going to play this just yet. Okay. Turn 2. We don't have double blue, so I think we do foretell this. I don't know what they're going to go for on 3. Could be an Elspeth's Nightmare. Could be a Cultivate if they are running that. We're still not sure. Green. And they pass. Alright, so glad I foretold this. So now what? Can go for Duress plus a 2 mana spell. So we're going to get this down on black. And we're going to go for the Duress. We'll see if they are an Ultimatum deck. Alright, okay, so these could become an issue now that we cited out all of our extinction events. Alright. And the can't be countered. Alright. Gargaroth shouldn't be a problem, but it's more Coma that I'm worried about. Man, I don't want to have to play Extinction Event just to deal with this thing. But they do need 7 mana to get there. Okay, and we're going to go for the Omen. This might be a Behold, this could just be a Saw It Coming. Alright, resolves, good. Land. How much do I want land? Probably not the swamp. I guess I'll take the passage. I want to hit lands up to 5 at least to be able to blink this Yorion for value. Oh man, that's a lot of land. Okay, I'm still not too mad I kept this. So we want... I don't think we're going to need all our mana this turn. I think we're okay to play this tapped. Tome, very good. I don't think the opponent's going to give me 2 things to counter. I think they might go for a Gargaroth, but that's pretty much it. And if they do, I can just Disdainful Stroke, which they know I have. And hold the Sot coming for anything that isn't Coma. I mean, I do have the Heartless Act, which if I can find would be really helpful. They go for Duress. Alright, Duress take Disdainful Stroke. And they want to Gargaroth me next turn. Okay. So what? Hold open, Sot coming, and Tome draw? Let me check the bottom again, sorry. Swamp, sure. I guess we'll play this on blue. Now I'll need this. Alright, and then we're gonna go on the Tome. Hold open, Sot coming, and Tome draw. Are they going to counter my Tome? Ooh, they go to counter my Tome. Is that fine? It means they get to resolve a Gargaroth, and we don't have many answers to a Gargaroth. Alright, I guess it is fine. And they still need to top deck land into land in order to be able to go for Coma on 7. So they might have trouble doing that. They foretell something. That's going to be annoying. Okay. My turn. Alright, more Fabled Passages. Sure. And I can go for this, but I think I just buy Yorion and chill out. Just get 2 in the hand. Just hold open, saw it coming. Very slow game, but that's how it is sometimes. Alright, they go for a Behold. Okay. This will get them 2 cards deeper. So that's a good draw. I don't want to just slam Yorion because then they go for Gargaroth, and then I'm not feeling too hot. We might have to side in more removal. And they foretell again? Okay. Binding. Okay, now we're chilling. Now we're feeling better. I guess we're going to thin the deck. We're just going to grab both of these. And we'll go for black. First of all. If it will let me. And I can grab double green, and I think I actually, well, no, I'm actually not going to grab double green, because I can get it with the binding, and I don't want to have too many green sources, or rather just have mana that I deem more useful. So we can go for the Yorion now, and they can counter it, and we can still hold open saw it coming. And we have backup Yorion. Behold the Multiverse, okay. So at least they let me know they don't have a counterspell, thus influencing whatever I get off my Omen. And they kept, I think, did they keep these? I don't remember, guys. They kept those 2 for sure. So if they're not drawing land, that's on them. But I think I value hitting my land drops way more than my opponent does in this game. I like both of these cards. But that means you don't hit our land. Alright. We're going to grab these because these present pretty powerful forms of card advantage. And Shark is pretty nice. Alright, so they did keep a land. They might have Dispute. Duress. Okay. Take the Tome. Man, this guy's taking out my tomes. It feels bad. Gargaroth. Honestly, I don't even need to counter that. Does that just resolve because I take it out with the binding? I mean, we don't know that they're an ultimatum player, and I kind of want to use my mana, and then I can make Big Shark next turn, so sure. Unless they just deem it safe. I don't know. I don't want to slam this. They could just binding it. We'll get in some damage, and we'll make a 5/5 Shark on end phase. If they have land, they have Coma, but we can't deal with it anyways. Okay, they foretell. Now this player's greedy with not keeping land. They don't know how screwed I am should they actually resolve this thing. So big shark. And there's the land anyways. And there's some more land. Okay, let's actually get this down on green. And we're going to go for a nice attack for 9. Opponent's pretty weak. I can play other Yorion, but they kind of have to respect my board. I'm not doing anything this turn, but I don't think tapping out for Yorion is worth it. What is that, like the third Behold the Multiverse? Because they're dead in the air. We represent a respectable clock. It would be better for them to take out the shark. Oh, and they hit tap land. Let's go, boys. And they're not doing anything, so it could just be instant speed removal, in which case I'm not going to scry with this. Okay. Let's get an attack in. And do we just kill them? Shark is a 4/4, so it doesn't block well. A 1/1 shark. That's another option. How low do you go? Go to 3. Alright. I'm going to cycle this trio main phase, see what I find. Should have tapped more green there, but it's okay. Shark Typhoon, good. Alright, we'll put this on blue. And we'll pass. Alright. We pretty much have a 4/4 and a replacement card. And if they go for removal on my Yorion, I don't know why you would do that. They know I have a second one, meaning the Legends rule is stopping me from playing this. Because I do value the big body. So 7 mana, do you play Coma? Okay, so if they play Coma, they tap down one of my sharks, but I just kill them with the other one. Okay, nothing yet. And now their shark is a 6/6, but they would only be able to make 1 if they have it. So we go for our other shark. How many Shark Typhoons have they gone through? 1, just 1, I think, yeah. Oh, negate, that's good. And another Omen. Let's go to combat. See what we hit. Attack base. Opponent needs double removal spell here. They have 1 shark, so 1 shark plus removal spell also does it. Actually, it doesn't, because if they removal spell, I just counter it, and then it's game because they're tapped out. Yep. Alright, we get there. So yeah, even if they had drawn a Heartless Act or an Eliminate, they block the 5/5, take 4, and that's GG's. So I don't know if this was an ultimatum player or not, and their draw was just really weird, but it honestly seems to be a mirror, in which case I do recommend the Yorion pile. You will have many more resources and be able to go way longer in the game. Alright guys, and we are back. So that game was nearly half an hour, and I don't want to keep you guys for too long, so I'm not going to go into another one, even though I like to keep my videos a bit over half an hour. Like, best of 3 game is pretty long, so, you know, it could be another like 15, 20, if not longer, minutes. Like, I've had some crazy long games with this deck, because as you know, and as you can clearly tell, it goes long, and it is a grindy control pile. So I'm probably going to end up playing something like this. I want to try out Valky in the 2-drop spot with a couple red splashes, as I previously mentioned. And I don't know how good Shadow's Verdict actually is. I see a lot of the ultimatum versions running it, which is why I'm testing it out to see like what all the hype's about. And it's great against Rakdos, and it's like okay against rogues. It's really difficult for any expensive sorcery speed spell to resolve against them at all. So yeah, this deck is more tuned to the meta, I think, where I'm taking a best of 1 approach where I want to be capable of taking on all types of decks in game 1, and then in game 2 I can either gear myself to very controlling and counterspell heavy or extremely removal focused, depending on what I need to tune my deck for. So that's just why I enjoy this style of deck. I feel like in best of 3 you can kind of walk that line in game 1 and then really go hard in games 2 and 3. if you even get to game 3, but you guys know what I mean. So if you like the whole testing aspect, me actually playing best of 3, which I don't typically do on YouTube because I just like the style of best of 1 for content. I feel I can get more games in. Like, you guys see this one game took up the whole video. And yeah, so if you guys have any feedback on that, I'd really appreciate it in the comment section. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Again, just letting you know the deck list is down below if you want to try it out for yourself. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.